If you're trying to break into cybersecurity or get hired right now, you're walking into a system that's already collapsing. And while everyone's busy yelling, a cyber talent shortage, AI is quietly rewriting the rules of who gets hired and who gets erased. Here's the part no one's saying out loud. It's not about talent anymore. It's about visibility, positioning, and timing. And right now, beginners who are visible are leapfrogging veterans who stay silent. If you miss this shift, you will burn out chasing jobs that don't even exist. In this video, I'm breaking down 5 brutal truths about cybersecurity careers in 2025. The real reason you're not getting hired even when you're qualified, how people are quietly skipping the entire application process, and the one system that makes you future-proof, even if AI wipes out your role. If you're feeling stuck, overlooked, or like you're falling behind in a field you love, this might be the most important video you watch this year. Because the problem isn't you. It's that no one updated your cyber career roadmap. So let's change that. Here's how the hiring game really works right now. Step 1, send in your resume. Step 2, it hits an AI keyword robot known as the applicant tracking system. Step 3, if your resume doesn't perfectly match the job post, it's gone instantly, and no human ever sees it. And that's if the job was even real to begin with. Some listings are just there to collect your personal data. Others are posted so companies can look like they're growing. And some already have internal candidates lined up, or they're just outsourcing. And a whole bunch get pulled by bots before they even hit the interview phase. And on top of all that, AI is replacing some of the roles you're applying for in real time. So if you're still stuck tweaking your resume, grinding leak code, and applying to everything with security in the title, you're wasting your time. When a beginner posts what they're learning, they stand out. When an expert hides behind silence, they disappear. This isn't about effort or experience anymore. It's about visibility, credibility, and becoming someone people notice. And that all starts with one tool they don't want you to figure out. Let's talk about the massive elephant in the room, AI. Yes, over 150,000 tech jobs disappeared this year. And yes, AI is automating tasks faster than most companies can rewrite their org chart. But here's the truth, AI isn't here to completely replace you. It's here to change the game. And if you don't learn how to play, that's when it becomes a threat. The fear-mongering headlines of AI stealing your job, they're not entirely wrong, but they're mostly a distraction. Because while you're being told to tread carefully, the companies that are saying that are already using AI to scale, cut costs, and tighten their hiring pipelines. But here's the real plot twist. The more AI we adopt, the more cybersecurity we need. But the nature of that work and how people get hired to do it is changing fast. AI can't secure itself. It can't make high-stakes decisions in a vacuum. It needs humans who know how to wield it. If you become that person, you're in demand. So no, AI isn't the end of the road. But if you're trying to build a future-proof cyber career, you'll need to adapt. Because the rules of employment are changing, and fast. But that's your advantage. New rules mean a new map, and people just getting started can move faster than the ones still clinging to the old one. The idea that you'll stay at one company for 30 years and retire with a pension, that world is gone. Most cybersecurity professionals won't climb the ladder to the top. Not because they aren't talented, but because the ladder keeps getting pulled. AI is accelerating a shift that has already been happening. Jobs are being reshaped, outsourced, or quietly eliminated. Even skilled workers are getting cut. Not because they're bad at what they do, but because a cheaper model, automation, or external vendor came along. So what now? You have to shift the goalpost. Instead of chasing job security inside a company, you start building long-term stability outside of it. That doesn't mean quitting your job tomorrow. It means using your current role to prepare for independence on your own terms. And here's how that might look. First, develop real marketable skills that companies will always need. Pay attention to the problems you solve every day. Document what you learn and what you wish you'd known earlier, and package your experience into guides, tools, templates, or services. Then start building a digital body of work, something that grows even when you're offline. And over time, this turns into leverage. More opportunities, more flexibility, and more control over how you work. For many people, especially if you're neurodivergent, it's a form of protection. Trying to succeed in rigid corporate systems that ignore how your brain works is exhausting. But building your own systems creates space for you to do your best work without masking, burning out, or waiting for someone else to understand. More cybersecurity professionals are choosing this strategy quietly, steadily, and with the long game in mind. If you want lasting stability in this field, build toward ownership of your skills, of your schedule, and of your future. When you're new, get jobs and use them as a skill farm. And if you're building visibility while you learn, you won't need to stay on the farm long. Because the companies you work for might not last, but the systems you build for yourself will. All right, let's say you're done sending resumes into the void and getting ghosted by the ATS filters. If the system's not built to see you, you have to stop waiting and start making them come to you. You want real leads, referrals, and recruiters who already trust your brain before you even get on a call. That only happens when people know you exist. In 2025, visibility is everything. So here's the trick no one tells you. Posting content is the new bulk apply, but it's actually pretty efficient. One good post can do more for you than 50 applications ever will. And it doesn't take much. In fact, you're only 50 LinkedIn posts away from being a thought leader. You get to show how you think, prove that you can communicate clearly, and attract people who are already aligned with what you bring to the table. You just need a system that makes your learning visible, and that's what gives beginners and veterans the edge. You don't need decades of experience, you just need to be seen solving problems, learning fast, and showing up. Something that builds credibility while you're still getting experience. And let me walk you through the exact path I use to build visibility and thought leadership from scratch. Step 1, start a weekly newsletter, even if it's just for you. So forget about growing an audience. Your newsletter is your discipline training ground. Once a week, write down the one thing you saw, learned, or realized. This builds 2 key muscles. First, you start thinking like a creator, and then second, you build a track record of learning that compounds over time. Most people stall out right there. They wait until they know enough or think they've got something worth sharing. But here's the truth. The audience comes because you start, not the other way around. The confidence comes when you prove to yourself that you can do it. If you want to be taken seriously as a thought leader, start publishing every week. Pick a lane, show up, and stick with it. You'll get sharper, your voice will come through, and you'll finally have proof of work to point to when someone says, "So, what do you actually do?" Personally, I stayed in this phase for a full year, quietly writing, getting clear on what I actually cared about, and that repetition built the rhythm and flexed my discipline muscle, and the clarity came with it. Once I had that, then I moved to the next stage. Step 2, add Instagram when you're ready to learn hooks and get eyes. After your writing habit and discipline is locked in, it's time to practice getting attention. Instagram is your fast feedback loop. It teaches you how to write headlines that stop scrolls, make your point in under 60 seconds, and package your ideas so they actually land. You can use your newsletter as a seed, and then make your content from what's included in that. So one insight could be one reel, one paragraph could be a carousel, and one quote could be a visual post. You'll probably suck at first and start slow, but if you're consistent, people will start noticing over time. And when the DMs and comments start filling with the same question, that's when you know it's time. Step 3, when people keep asking you for the same thing, build it. Visibility is listening. When people tell you what they want, you build it. That becomes your first product. It could be a workshop, a PDF guide, a mini course, it doesn't matter. As long as it solves a real problem that already exists and people want it solved, you're golden. You don't have to guess because your audience will literally hand it to you. And you build it, test it, and refine it. And at that point, you're valuable and have an income stream. Step 4, graduate to YouTube for deep influence. By now, you know what you care about. You know what people need from you, and you've built muscles around storytelling, pacing, hooks, and clarity. Now it's time to go deep. This is also a solid source of income. YouTube is where it all compounds. You'll create long-form tutorials, career breakthroughs, thought leadership pieces. You finally get to say the real stuff in depth without worrying about character limits or trending audio. And the best part? You don't have to write YouTube scripts from scratch. You can use the same newsletters you started back in step 1. My weekly writing habit gave me a library of material to pull from. It gave me clarity, it gave me rhythm, it gave me discipline. Now I just turn on the camera and bring it to life. And that's what I did, and it really works. But none of it matters if you burn out halfway through. So how do you implement this consistently without losing your mind? Let's be real. When people say don't burn out, what they usually mean is do less. But if you're trying to build something real, that's not an option. The real solution is you build systems that scale with you, systems that turn one effort into multiple assets, that make your ideas reusable, and help your content grow without you constantly being on. If you're building up to a one-person cyber business eventually, especially in an area where AI is moving fast, you can't afford to waste time on stuff that disappears the moment you hit publish. You need a leverage bank, and that's what we're building. Every time you solve a problem, explain a concept, or figure something out, you capture it. You store it in a way that your future self or your audience can use again and again. Here's how it works. 1, evergreen frameworks are infinite reuse. Every time you figure something out, at work or in a lab, don't just scribble notes and move on. Turn it into a system, like a checklist, walkthrough, repeatable process, or a script that you can reuse 10 different ways. That's leverage. You spend the effort once and reuse it forever. Store it in your second brain, and it pays you back every time you pull from it. Your second brain is your idea vault and career engine. Your second brain is where you store all of your information. Every SOC playbook you rewrote, every config file you fixed, every mental model you use to solve something tough. That's your future intellectual property. You'll use it to build products, create content, teach, consult, and make sure no good idea ever gets lost. That's how you stay consistent without burning out. That's how you keep momentum without relying on motivation. Your leverage bank is your runway. It's what keeps you ahead of the churn, even when everything else in the world is changing. So once you've got your system working for you, let's talk about the bigger picture. Cybersecurity isn't dying, but the path to getting in has changed. The old advice that told you to stay quiet, follow the checklist, and wait for a recruiter to notice you. But in a field this competitive and this noisy, that just makes you invisible. Here's the shift. Visibility now beats experience. Not because experience doesn't matter, but because most hiring managers never even see your resume. So the people who show up consistently and document their journey, explain what they're learning, and make their growth visible, they stand out even if they're just starting. It lets you show your discipline, your curiosity, and your momentum long before anyone hands you a job. If you're new to cyber or on the job hunt, don't get discouraged by telling you that it's too late or too saturated or cybersecurity's over. What they're really saying is that they don't know how to adapt. But you are already ahead the moment you decide to make your progress public. Someone who explains what they're learning is far more hireable than someone who hoards their knowledge and waits to be discovered. The cybersecurity career isn't dead, but the future belongs to those who make themselves visible. Because in 2025, the people who win aren't the ones with the fanciest certs, they're the ones who build momentum, documented it, and make themselves impossible to ignore. And if you want a shortcut to that, Cyber Zero to Hero is my complete system for getting ahead in the age of AI. It's built for beginners, but designed for the future. You'll learn how to pick your cyber niche, build a second brain, get hands-on experience without a job, and stand out fast. If you're serious about breaking in, you'll need a strategy.